So, but what's been interesting is that people are saying, yeah, okay, but Android phones don't seem to be infected. I mean, like no one's taking advantage of that. Of course, there was the concern when you could just receive an MMS message and get your phone taken over. That the potential for remote exploitation was so high there that we all jumped to fix that as quickly as possible. What Android or what Kaspersky is seeing is that mobile ransomware affected 136K of Android customers by April of 2016, so a few months ago, and that was nearly quadrupled from March of 2015. So it looks like, unfortunately, it's a growth segment. And as I said, they have a solution potentially for this. So there's a little bit of self-promotion probably going on here. But the statistics and details are interesting. They said one of the things that's interesting is that that the strategy is different for mobile versus desktop. On a desktop, the ransomware favors file encryption, because you typically have high-value, irreplaceable files sort of inherently in a desktop setting, much more than a mobile setting. On a mobile device, it's songs that you have somewhere else. Also, the vendors are actively backing phones up to the cloud so that if your phone got encrypted, it's like, okay, fine, just do a hard reset and restore from the cloud, and you're back to the point where you had your last backup. So the point is that on mobile devices, rather than encrypting files, what they're seeing is blocking, what they call blocker-style ransomware. And when I saw the pictures in their blog posting about this, they sort of looked familiar. Like I've run across them just sort of in passing, but didn't really give them much thought. But they come up and pretend to be, for example, the NSA or some government agency. Quoting from Kaspersky, they said blockers are the much more popular means to infect Android devices. On mobiles, they act simply by overlaying the user interface of every app with their own. So a victim can't use any application at all. PC owners can get rid of a blocker with relative ease. All they need to do is remove the hard drive, plug it into another computer, not that that's easy for most people, but it is a workaround, and wipe out the blocker's files. Of course, that's sort of speaking from Kaspersky's standpoint. But they write, but you can't simply remove the main storage from your phone. It's soldered into the motherboard. That explains why blockers hold 99% of the mobile ransomware market, in quotes, such as it is. In 2014 through 2015, there were four main actors in this the mobile ransomware space that dominated. There's something called SVPENG, PLETOR, Plator, Small, and FUSOB. Wonder what that's an acronym for, or an abbreviation for. FUSOB, yeah. Right. At this time, Plator, they said, has almost stopped its expansion. Its creators have launched an infamous ACE card Trojan and seem to be pouring their resources into developing and spreading that instead. Oh, so their attention kind of got diverted by a different Trojan they're working on. The developers of the SVPENG, SVPENG, have also refocused mostly on the banking version of the Trojan.
Well, you got to go where the money is.
Yeah, so that leaves only two big mobile ransomware families, Small and FUSOB. As a result, In the 2015 to 2016 timeframe, these two Trojans represent more than 93% of the mobile ransomware space. And what's interesting is that they have a lot in common, but their territories deliberately don't overlap, which is sort of suspicious. Kaspersky says it's noteworthy that the FUSOB and small Trojan families have a lot in common. Both display fake screens that pretend to be signed by authorities and accuse the victims of misdemeanor. Both say that a criminal case will be opened unless the user pays the fine, which, you know, it does. A sophisticated user is like,
if you just pay us $300, we won't have to send you to jail, you know.
Yeah, pay $300 to the NSA, and we'll just give you a slap on the screen and let you go about your business, and don't do that. Don't do that again. So they say both FUSOB and small also offer rather strange ways to pay the ransom. This FUSOB suggests payment with iTunes gift cards, which apparently provides sufficient anonymization.
Yeah, but you can't turn those into cash. Maybe you can turn them into cash. That's really weird.
Or maybe the guys that did FUSOB just really like iTunes stuff, and they want to buy some goodies. Yeah. Whereas small offers victims the option of paying by the Kiwi payment system or the MoneyPack Express packet vouchers. And then they write, both were probably created by some Russian-speaking groups of cyber criminals, but with very different approaches.
Both
and here's where it talks
viruses, because Kiwi and MoneyPack were not.